something incredible about the power of vision. What do I mean by that? Well, this past week, I learned a very simple lesson about the power of vision. For years, my wife Mary has been worried about this leaning pine tree in our backyard. Well, as chance would have it, the company that's been trimming our trees and pruning trees for years happened to be in our neighborhood. We showed him this tree that Mary's been worried about. A couple of days later, he showed back up at our house and he began to look at it. And he brought his team with him. From the man dangling on top of the trees to the men on the ground directing the fell trees to safety for removal, it was a work of art. There were times when the saw man looked like a leprechaun swinging in the top of those trees. After about 5 hours of teamwork, the tree was down, all was removed, all was great, and that work of art had been completed. I began to reflect on what God was teaching me about leadership from this experience. The first thing I saw is they had a shared vision. A shared vision is always the guiding force that aligns the teams together toward a common goal. There was no doubt about who was the man in charge. His name was Jake, but he'd already selected and prepared his right-hand man to come alongside him and perhaps prepare him for a future, larger, yet-to-come role. That's exactly what Jesus did with Simon Peter. I wonder, do you know who the right hand is in your ministry? The second thing I learned is they trusted each other. They completely trusted each other in what they were doing. Trust is always a fundamental evidence of success in a team. It creates a safe and supportive environment where team members can openly communicate, share their ideas, take some risk without any fear of judgment. Just as the disciples in Scripture trusted the Lord even when they didn't understand what he was doing, they knew that he cared for them. Thirdly, they worked together. They worked as men under authority. Sometimes teams want to do things their own way and they fail to follow instructions. Listen, this is always a recipe for disaster. If you can't be under authority, no one will ever be under your authority. Fourth lesson I learned is those guys in that tree, they communicated constantly. Clear and open communication is only thing your team's going to understand. I'm sure just like Jesus, Jake, the head of this company, he had regular meetings with his team. He had one-on-one conversations with his team. He told them exactly what he wanted them to do. He showed them what needed to be done for the job to get done. The lessons I learned from the trees: know your objective. Agree on the right angle of attack. Sometimes you got to be willing to go out on a limb, and you have to learn to trust your team to come alongside you. That's the secret to teamwork. I pray that in everything we do, we'll be better and better functioning as a team.